In this video, I'm going to show you one of the methods I use to learn skills up to 5 times faster, if not more. I call it the montage method. And by the end of this video, you'll not only know what it is, you'll know exactly how to use it today. Without any further ado, let's get started. So a while ago when I was first learning skills, I was doing what everybody else does. I was blocking my training into 30-minute blocks or 1-hour blocks, depending on what I was doing. And even though I had a system at the time and I was learning skills, 3 times faster, I was still getting stuck in that foundation phase. I wanted to get out of it faster. So I started experimenting. And then one day, instead of doing a normal 30-minute training block, I started to break the skill down to sub-skills and start practicing like that. And then before I knew it, I started making progress. And I started improving faster and breaking plateaus and getting out of that phase faster. And then later, as I started researching, I found out there's a concept and it's called interleaving, and it's science and it's backed by science and research. And it states that the people who use this method, it's a principle, but it states that people who use this, they retain information better and learn faster than those who learn things in isolation. Well, there's a time and place to learn things in isolation, and as I started applying it to different skills, I started to know when to use it, when not to use it, and when it fell short. And I created my own method around it called the montage method. So the montage method, while it helps you learn skills faster, you break down skills into 2 to 3 sub-skills. So when you're doing a 30-minute block, I like breaking the sub-skills into 10 minutes. So you do 3 10-minute sub-skills instead of 1 30-minute block. Let me give you 2 examples. First, let's say you're learning basketball for the first time. You're a novice basketball player. You've never played basketball before. Instead of just practicing 30 minutes of basketball, I would tell you to practice 10 minutes of shooting so you can get that jumper away, 10 minutes of dribbling, getting that ball handling right, and then 10 minutes of layups so you don't miss open layups. But what it's also good for, if the skill has a lot of sub-skills, like languages, for example, it's a cheat code. It's a cheat code for languages or any skill that has a lot of different sub-skills. Because all you got to do is, instead of breaking it all the sub-skills down into one day, you rotate it across different days. Right? So right now I'm learning Spanish. So you can use this for languages, but you can also apply this to more complex skills. So on Monday, you might just do, let me practice reading. Let me practice the speed of reading. Let me practice how to read, how reading works. Do you read left, right, left? That sort of thing. And Tuesday, you practice writing. You break down the sub-skill of writing. And then Wednesday, you practice pronunciation, intonation, speed, right? And then maybe, Friday, you practice vocab, grammar, that sort of thing, right? And you see how you break it down like that? The main thing I use this method for is to get people out of the foundational phase. The foundational phase, or also like how I like to call it, it's the hell phase, for a lack of a better term. There's a lot of different names for it. But the foundational phase is where everybody gives up on a new skill because the skill gets hard. They don't know how to do the skill. You don't know what you don't know. You suck at everything. And it just sucks overall. So I want to get you out of that phase and get you to the precision phase where you're not really good, but you're at least not a complete novice. You can help somebody 1 to 2 steps behind you, and that's why I want to get you. And you have some momentum on your side, so you don't feel like giving up. And I want to get you there as fast as possible. And I found that the montage method helps best for foundational phase people. And if you're just starting out and you're thinking, but Yulu, how do I apply this skill? How do I start applying this skill? And how do I know what sub-skills to pick? And you want to pick sub-skills that feed into each other, right? And when you're picking sub-skills that feed into each other, I know I said that earlier, but it doesn't really matter what sub-skills you pick, right? As long as they don't interfere with each other. Because in the beginning, you suck at everything. So it's not like you could pick the wrong sub-skill, right? But as long as the skills don't interfere with each other, you should be good. Like, let me give you a couple examples. For one, let's go back to a basketball example because this is easy to visualize. If one of the sub-skills you're working on is your endurance and running full court across the court, right? And then after that, you want to practice shooting or some other sub-skill. It's going to be hard to run full court back and forth for however long, 5-10 minutes, and then think you can be perfectly ready to practice shooting, right? You're already super tired. Now, if you put it at the end, it would be better. But you see what I'm saying? It doesn't interfere if you put it at the end. So mess around with the order. Just make sure that the sub-skills don't interfere with each other. Another example is, let's say, voices, right? If you're practicing voices and placement, let's say you're practicing placement. And if you don't know what placement is where the voice comes from. Does it come from your mouth, your throat? You have different placements. Let's say you're practicing your throat placement. And you're really making sure you practice that throat placement, start talking from your throat. And you can even mess around with the pitch, right? I'll tell you, if you're practicing throat placement and you do that first, it's going to be very hard to do, like, let's say emotions, or you're practicing tone or air. It's going to be very hard because the throat takes a lot out of you. As you get more advanced, you'll build the endurance, right? Of course, that's why I said this is not forever, but in the beginning, when you're using this, it's good not to pick skills that interfere with each other. And as long as you follow that rule, I promise you, it doesn't matter. Because think about it like this. as you get better at the sub skills you pick and you get better and better and better, then you'll figure out, okay, I'm getting good at this. Let me do this sub skill next, or let me do this sub skill next. You'll start feeling confident, right? And you'll start doing this sub skill and then this sub skill, right? And then you'll get out the foundational phase and you'll get to precision phase, and then you'll feel so momentum, you'll be like, I can do this, right? Because what stops people from getting out this phase is the limiting belief, right? Because they suck at everything, they have no clear path, right? And if you haven't watched my last video, I talk about limiting beliefs, how the skill isn't really impossible. It's just your limiting beliefs around it, right? And you feel like you're stuck here forever. If we get you out this phase and we get you precision phase, you'll know you can do it, right? So think about it like that and just stick with it. And I promise you, if you just pick a sub skill and get good at it, you'll gradually see what the next steps are, right? But that's the montage method. It's not flashy, but it works. Let me know if you have any questions. And until next time, I'll see you later. Yilu out.